Hey, Simon here, and this video is no explanation but more a documentation, because it's easy to break this setup where we have a little enemy and as soon as it touches this player, let's say, then it resets. When I disable this enemy and enable it again and I do it several times, at some point it breaks. It's not super easy to reproduce, that's why I have these buttons here. But at some point the enemy will move through the player and then, okay, now I made it by just disabling and enabling the enemy. And this is interesting now. We don't get any touched event here. The number doesn't change anymore. And when we look in the remote tab, let's see the enemy. So the enemy looks good. It's still monitoring. It still has collision layers. It's not disabled or anything. And we also don't get any errors. I found some reports which actually say the opposite. They say disabling the processor physics body and the area 2D in the same frame will make the area register body as entered forever. In my case, it's the opposite. It's not registering it at all. So because if this the touch would be registered all the time, then my enemy would be basically respawned here at the start pause every frame. But this is not the case. And I think the problem is still doing it at the same frame. So here, for example, I set the when I enable the enemy, I set the process mode and the collision shape disabled in the same manner. We can do this more safe with the deferred options or set deferred things, because this is usually the way you should do it when it comes to physics. And but as we do it still at the same moment, yeah, and enabling the enemy and the collision. Oh, now it worked at the first time. This is not usually. I can restart. Sometimes it takes a little bit more than that. Yes. Oh no. But yeah, it breaks. It seems it breaks more often or more quickly with the deferred option. So this is actually the same issue. And what I found for me, is using the set disabled process here, the set process function, and set deferred for the collision and set process for the enemy itself. The set process function is very interesting, by the way, because when we, let me just shortly make it the other way again. When we use this and we start the game, and we disable the enemy. Now, when we go into remote enemy, we actually see down here that it is disabled now. This is what you would do, or what you would see when you do it manually as well. When we use this mode here, it's very interesting. Poof. So now we use the set process function. In my assumption, it was the same. It was doing the same, but no, it's not, because it actually disables the enemy. That's true. It doesn't move anymore. But when we look in the remote function to our enemy, down here the process mode is still in inherit. So it's not disabled. Or there seems to be a difference between those two things. Anyway, this is how it works for me so far. I can click a little bit, but I should not be able to break it. And yes, so I wanted to document this, to add it to maybe a bug report, or maybe something more, because the documentation doesn't explain too much about it. And also I did not find any big solution. Actually, I think this thread was talking about that it might be able or might be improved when you use Jolt physics, which comes with Godot 4.3. Here they talk about Jolt, and I think there it's actually not an issue. So when you use Jolt physics, then it works. At least the issue described here. But like I said, it's only in 4.3, and 4.3 is not officially released. So let me try this a little bit more here. Yes, it's not working. Or no, it's actually working because we are not setting the collision disable in the same frame. By the way, just for those who are interested. Let's assume it would work when we make it like this. I mean, it does not work, but not using any deferred options. Yeah? Here it actually works. There is no problem, no error, because it's such a simple game. But when I show you my real game, here I also set the process mode directly, and now we should see here very quickly coming in some errors that we can't disable the collision object, and we should use call deferred. So in a real game with more going on, we actually need the deferred options. And yeah, my option here, or my solution here, was, by the way, also using deferred, of course. So boop boop, and the disable collision is actually already deferred in the function. And I noticed that here sometimes, here my laser did not hit. It doesn't hit anymore because these enemies, they are reused, they are pooled, so they are not recreated every time. So after disabling their collision once, it stays disabled, and I was confused by that. Why is my laser not hitting anymore? And yeah, I noticed that I cannot use this process mode inherit thingy. I need to, or I cannot set the collision and this at the same time. I need the set process, and here the set process, and yeah, like I said, the disable collision function internally, it uses the deferred command. So it is actually set one frame, or at the end of the frame, and the set process is set immediately, and with that it actually works very well. We don't have any issues with the process. And even though like we saw here in the where's my enemy container, even though we didn't see that the enemy is disabled down here, they actually are disabled, or let's say at least the process is not executed anymore, and this is what I actually want to save some performance. So that's actually working. Okay, so maybe this helps someone, and maybe you know more and can help others. And if you do, then please write in the comments your solution or your other wisdom. Thanks.